Okay, I know people are not used to me going live. I never go live, but I don't think I've gone live for a long time. So people are not really used to me going live, but I'm just going to go on and start talking. I'm driving, so I'm not going to be able to look down and see your comments. I might be able to, be able to see the chat replay, but I am not able to look down and see your comments. I want to say this, which is going to be uh, totally off from what the title of this video is. My heart, for some reason, has been hardened to Chat GPT. I hear a lot of people talk about Chat GPT, and I realize Chat GPT gives good information, and it prevents people from having to do the hard work of really spending hours and days doing the research. But not only is it dumbing humans down, because that's why I was initially hardened to GPT, because I felt like I was already using GPS and all this different stuff, and then to use Chat GPT is just going to keep making me lazy, right? But I remember seeing, like, I would say a year ago, around this time, I saw videos being made about Chat GPT and how dangerous it was going to be to human beings. And this was coming from techies. This was coming from people who are like tech, not like into a lot of technology. And they finally came around at the 11th hour and talked about how dangerous AI was going to become to human beings, and talking about how Chat GPT was going to be very dangerous. Okay, and then I happened to listen to a live that Quantita Dean and Miss A Walk with the Ancestors had with another lady. I forget her name, but they were on the live together. She was talking about how Chat GPT caused all these problems in their life. It was altering, distorting their realities, and then they couldn't sleep, and all kinds of stuff, weird stuff going on, weird sicknesses going on. Okay. And wondering, is that a way to do the, what you call it, the neural thing that Elon Musk was talking about? That's a way for them to connect to your brain. Well, actually, it's not just ChatGPT to do it, because really, when you use a cell phone, I've already seen this. During meditations, I've seen, like, my consciousness come out of my own tablet. I literally see my consciousness raising up out of my own tablet. I've seen my consciousness raise up out of apps. So it already happens, but ChatGPT is going to take it to another whole level. So, like, I was hearing Cortina talk about, when you Google something and you ask a question on Google and it says AI overview, when you put in a question for Google, that's already ChatGPT. Now, I want to say that, listen, I could have heard wrong from Spirit, but Spirit say, no, it's not the same thing. That right there, looking up something on Google, is not the same as ChatGPT. But I could be wrong. I don't really care to think like that, because then that's to say that, well, since you're using ChatGPT when you Google something, then you might as well just go on and use it. But I don't know. But getting to the point. Now, the title of this video is, this live, is the black or brown community has nothing to do with your soul. Has nothing to do with you as a soul. And if you're just now coming, because I can't see my screen, I'm driving, and I'm not going to be able to look down and see any comments. So, but I just see the chat replay. Now, yeah, the black community has nothing to do with your soul, and here's why. You, just because of your skin complexion does not mean that you have to feel obligated to be a part of any group of people. I only want to be, at this point in my life, and that's why I'm kind of glad I'm the age that I am, because I don't need to be around folks like that. I don't need to be accepted. I'm clearly, like, I'm literally about a half a century old. I know that's not that old, but it's old enough not. It's old enough not to like fit in. It's old enough to like not care about what folks think these days. I've almost like lived a half a century. I'm close to half a century. I'm past to half a century. And a little older. I talk about these things, but it's not something that troubles me. I have no problem with not having anything to do with the brown community, but really no community, because anything that's not in alignment with where my soul is wanting to take me, then it doesn't matter what color they are. It's like just separate from anything that's not in alignment with your with the Most High, of where the Most High is wanting to take you. It's not in alignment with your soul's purpose for you. It's not in alignment, and then don't be bothered with it. Okay? But I like to do these type of videos just to, for other people to hear it. Because I don't have an issue with it. Like I said, I'm at a place where I don't even hang out with folks or anything. I don't watch TV. It's really not even a big deal for me, but I just feel like talking about it. But yeah, because so I was listening to a lady. She was talking about Just Hilarious and this whatever kind of debate that she might have had with this other lady when Just Hilarious talked about how only women can give birth. And the lady corrected her saying, no, it's not just women who can give birth, which the other lady was correct. But like I said before on the previous video, the way in which she did it was to defend transgender. Okay, and I'm not against transgender. I don't care what people choose to do with their bodies. But I do have a problem when you disrespect other women. I have a problem when you minimize the complications and what it takes for a woman for a female, not just a woman, but for a female to give birth. That's when I have a problem with it. That's when I can't mess with you. And the transgender community, specifically the men, they do like person, but nobody really has a problem with it. The big comes from these men to change themselves into women. Because what I notice about these men that change themselves into women, it looks like it's a pass to abuse women. So the reason why a lot of women are not interested in it's not because, oh, we just don't like your personal lifestyle. Because for me, I could care less of somebody's personal lifestyle. But I clearly see it's done as a way for men to find an excuse to abuse women. Like during the Olympics, during that boxing match, when that transgender got up in there and went and boxed with that woman and knocked her out. And she just stepped out, she stepped away from the fight. She said, absolutely not, I can't do this. And she stepped away from the fight. I mean, and it is in different schools that I saw like different like posts, videos about girls who were on the swim team and on the track team, and this was in like predominantly Caucasian schools, right? And about little girls who was on the high schoolers who was on the swim team and track team, and how these boys transforming themselves into girls. We're getting these teens with these girls, and they would just smoke them. They would smoke them. They will always win when it comes to the swimming, and they will always win when it comes to the gym, because they were still biologically men. They were still biologically boys or male, right? Or male. Okay? And they were still able to win, and it was still unfair. And so that became a little too problematic. And videos of these men saying they want to go into the woman's bathroom and they dare a woman to say anything about it. See, that type of stuff right there is why now I kind of have a problem with it. Because now it looks to me like a lot of them are using it as an excuse to abuse other women. They want to legally find a way to abuse women. They want to find a way to abuse women without going to prison. It was a story about how this man went to prison. Now listen, he didn't have his sex change. He didn't dress like a woman or nothing. He looked like a whole man. He looked like Suge Knight. He looked like a whole man. And because he identified as female with that last administration, and I know this one ain't the best either, so I'm not trying to take up for either one of them, but with the last administration, he was able to say that he identified as female, even though he looked like Suge Knight. Okay, he wasn't trying to look like no woman. He had a beard. He looked like Suge Knight. He was a big man. He wasn't wearing a dress or nothing. But because he chose to identify as a female, a brown man chose to identify as a female, he was able to go to the female prison and he raped the female inmates. He raped them. And he was able to get away with it because around that time, because he identified as female, they could not legally charge him with rape, even though he had a penis. He had a physical penis that went into somebody's physical vagina, and it was forced. He clearly overpowered them. He's clearly stronger. But because he chose to identify as a female, looking like Suge Knight, there was nothing that a judge can do about it. There was nothing to do about it. See, that's why I don't support that movement right there. That's why I don't support it. Because they've tried, a lot of these men are looking for a legal way to abuse women. Women who change their sex into becoming a male, they're not looking for a legal way to go and abuse men. They just feel like they identify as men or males, and so they change their sex into male. But they're not bothering anybody. See, when you make a personal choice for your own life, that's different. You're not bothering nobody else. But when you do this and you are clearly being very abusive to other women, and you use this as a way to legally abuse other women, I have a problem with you. Very disrespectful. Okay? And so, but anyway, but like I said, I get where that lady was coming from, saying, you know, because women, like I said, it's a new concept under this particular cycle, under this patriarchy. Being called a woman is doesn't necessarily mean that you have children. Women is something like a new concept. But being male versus female, that has a lot to do with the genetic. That has more to do with biology than using pronouns. Like, biology is not pronoun. Woman is more like a pronoun, but genetically, being male or female has nothing to do with pronouns. Okay? So yeah. And I don't care what people want to argue. I don't think you heard of anything other than a female giving birth, even if you would call it a hermaphrodite. Like, some people are hermaphrodite, they have both parts and they're able to give birth. Okay, but how often do you hear about that case? See, people like to use these little rare cases and use it as an argument to defend these abusive ass doggone men who want to look for reasons to beat on women. They want to legally find a way to beat on women. Okay? How often are you hearing these cases? I mean, listen, I mean, some of you are old enough, in your whole entire life, you mostly knew it was females, whether it was a dog, whether it was a cat, whether it was a cow, whatever it was, they were females that were giving birth to babies. I don't know where the confusion is right now. See, they might not, because, but I've heard of recent studies. Recent studies, they went in the lab and did something. These people went in the lab and did something, and now you're gonna throw your whole life of what you've seen and what you witnessed and what you observed, your whole life, for some other new studies that some people that hate women want to go into a lab and create. Okay? I don't care about what's rare. My whole life, I heard females giving birth. Females. No matter what species it is, it's a female. You know? But, anyway, now I want to get to this brown community. You know, the brown community is very toxic. It's very, very, very much low vibrational. And let me say, it's other people. United States altogether is very low vibrational. The United States itself is very low vibrational, but it's even more low vibrational to me if you are a brown person, and specifically a brown woman in the United States. It's even lower vibrational if you're trying to be social. You know, if you're trying to really be social. It's not really that low vibrational for me because all I have to do is cut the TV off. But I don't have a TV. All I have to do is cut off the computer, right? All I have to do is just not look at videos. It's not low vibrational for me because I don't do anything, right? It becomes low vibrational for me when I'm looking at certain videos that have them doggone topics between brown men and brown women, or whatever brown women go through in the United States and all that different stuff. But yeah, you know, I sometimes I hear these things that's still going on between brown women and brown men, and what brown men have to say and all of this stuff, and it's like, it gets to the point, like, you know, if the brown community or any community, if it does not align with your soul and what the Most High has, what the Most High's purpose for you, if the brown community is not in alignment with it, do not feel obligated to be a part of it. You know, don't feel obligated to be a part of something that's unhealthy. And the brown community is very toxic. It's not healthy. It's not good for your soul. So don't feel like, I think the United States is too low vibrational. At the same time, there are certain spots in the United States of America that is okay. But in general, the United States pushing is too low vibrational for a soul. And I think it's time for not only the United States to just be removed. And I mean, United States need to be removed from countries that don't exist for real. United States don't exist for real. It's only a part of the mind. And with that being said, even if the United States is removed, they might put something else in its place that's even more toxic. So what else needs to be removed? And I talked about this on the last video. What needs to be removed? I'm not saying all men, but I'm not interested in what you call them, massaging people's egos. I'm not interested in massaging people's egos. The world is toxic for the most part because of men. Crime is crazy because of men. You have so many rapes because of men. A whole lot of stuff goes on because of men. A lot of gun violence because of men. Let me tell you something. I don't know if this was Argentina, but it was somewhere. I don't know what part of the Americas it was in. I think it might have been Argentina. Pretty sure. What it was. But anyway, it was a guy. Who was it? Who has it in one of those areas? I don't know if it was a part of Colombia or Argentina. I cannot remember. But the president locked everybody up who had a tattoo. Every man who had a tattoo got locked up. And what happened when every man who had a tattoo was locked up? Crime went down 90%. Crime went down 90%. So we can say this crazy females, these crazy women out here all day long. But if you want to get rid of most men, and I'm saying a good 95, 98% of men, do you think that this world would be as toxic as it currently is? Do you think? I don't think so. I don't think so. Okay. So anyway, yeah, I've decided that I'm not interested in massaging egos. Men are a problem. Men are a problem. That frequency is a problem. Okay. And it's not to say that I don't, have good conversations with men. It's not to say that. But it's time to call it what it is. It's a problem. It might start to get worse if it's not checked. If it's not checked, it might start getting worse. Because people want to talk about the Handmaid's Tale. The people who wanted the other administration to win, wanted the Democrats to win, talking about, see, now we about to go into the Handmaid's Tale. Okay, but if the other group would have stayed in office, you had a bunch of transgender men turning into women that legally found a way to beat the mess out of women, legally found a way to murder women because they want to call themselves women themselves. So either way, it was a lot of hate towards women, either way it goes. Both sides, it was an extreme hate towards women. Okay? Both sides. That's why I say I don't think we need a president at this point. It's time for a spiritual system. It's time to go back to a spiritual system. And it's time for the Most High to be in charge. Okay? And I don't mean the Most High as the way is people see in religion. I'm talking about more like a matriarch. It's time for the Most High to be in charge. It's time to go back to a spiritual system and not stop letting people do what they want to do. Because even though we see what's going on with the agenda with these politicians and these shadow government, really, they are worshiping their own God. So a lot of things that they do is because of their own gods that they are worshiping. Okay? And they have everybody else in a ritual and all this stuff for their gods that they're doing stuff for, to keep them in power and have everybody else involved in something. And listen, even though I'm not a Christian, I want to say this. You're supposed to hate what is evil. See, some things I agree with. I don't care who's in power. You should hate what is evil. Even, I think Gandhi, I want to find this post. I can't do it now because I'm driving. But it was some kind of post, some kind of quote that I saw from him. That you should not tolerate something that's evil. You should not tolerate something that is very detrimental to your well-being. Something that's very detrimental to your soul and spirit and your mind and body. You should not just go along with that just because somebody else is in power. And I don't care who it was Democrats, I don't care if it was Republicans, because the bottom line, neither one of them are really the ones in charge. Okay, it's people behind the scenes that's in charge, right? It's the ones that you don't see that's really in charge, so it has nothing to do with who you see with your eyes. It has nothing to do with them. Okay? But either way, whatever the agenda that they have is not in alignment with your soul's purpose, and so you cannot go along with it. So that means somebody has to go. Either you're going to find a way, because if you move, you're going to have to, where are you going to move to? You're going to have to get off the planet, and then you have to find the right planet to go to. You're going to have to get off the planet, but then you got to get out of this dome. So how do you get out of this dome, right? Anyway, with that being said, yeah, no, you don't have to just tolerate a group of people, be involved with a group of people, just because it's kind of like all what you see right now. Like, a lot of people might not agree with a lot of stuff they see, but that's pretty much most of what they see is stuff that's not even in alignment with their soul's purpose. And it comes time to just kind of leave folks alone right now, because it's time for things to be cleared out. It's time that's too low vibrational. Okay, certain people see here to get back on track. I don't know what part you heard. I have to go because it's not connected to the internet. I'm driving. I'm like in a country type of area, and it keeps disconnecting. So anyway, I'm going to have to cut this off because my little tablet's getting hot. It's hot in here. All right, and I'll talk later.